This is what $100 million looks like. 100 million $1 bills. Look at this.
Sheesh.
Okay, but watch this. This is what $100 billion looks like. Whoa. That's $100 billion. There's like 19 people on Earth that have this much money. Oh, and by the way, one of these guys just bought a house right up the road here in Washington, D.C.
Oh, nice.
Remember when we did the piles of cash? This is what $100,000 looked like when we did that visualization. So yeah, we're in a whole different echelon now.
100,000 shockingly looks like more than I thought it would. In my mind, $100,000 looks like one of those stacks, two of those stacks.
Now, I want to show you the lifestyles of people who are worth this much money versus this much money. So we've been talking to experts, interviewing people who work with the ultra wealthy to construct real world scenarios of what these people's lives look like, what kind of influence they have in society, to understand what and who they can buy. So first up, let's start with $100 million.
Too loud? Oh. Wait, it is fucking too loud. Why didn't anyone tell me?
My name is Scott. I started a candy company and I grew it over many years, and I eventually sold it to a big giant candy corporation. And because I started the company, I own most of it, and so I got a huge payout from this sale. Between that and a bunch of other investments over the years, I now have a net worth of $100 million.
Okay.
Wow, that's a big number. My primary residence is New York City, where 818 other centimillionaires live. Centimillionaires, it's like 100 millionaires. I'll show you my New York City house in just a second. But first, let's talk about my fortune and how I can spend it. Now, I can't actually spend my fortune right now because all of it is in the stock market.
Okay.
The upside of that is that it grows and grows. My portfolio grows at 10% every year. So what if I just sell this $10 million return I got this year?
Should have given your money to me to invest for you. I'll be your hedge fund manager. My return this year, based on the Doug stock game, %40! Oh, Lee, give me 2 and 20 on that one, baby. I'll be in a fucking yacht. God damn. Even Ludwig beats the S&P, bro. Eat your heart out, Aiden. 31.4%. Yikes, little bro. And that's with you getting this fucking unreal. The metals company, Bink. 235% return on fucking rare earth metal war between China and America. You called that one, Aiden? You saw that coming? Fucking brilliant. He didn't call it, he caused it. That I do believe. Aiden's always jet setting around the world causing problems.
Year. This could fund some of my lifestyle. Ugh, but look at all these taxes. All in all, it's like 37% of that $10 million. I guess it still leaves me with $6.3 million to spend. And look, I didn't even have to touch my portfolio. I'm still worth $100 million. Wait, is this video just tax calculations? No. Let's go find a house.
Okay.
My budget for a house is...
I'm sorry, I had to pause. Someone said, I'm surprised how much I liked Aiden when I met him. First of all, what does that mean? You thought you'd hate him, that he's a deeply unlikable guy? And then secondly, it's like, you know, it's not like a deep, long meeting. He's a nice, friendly guy, of course, in the first interaction. Aiden's a guy you dislike the more you meet him. Do you know what I'm saying? At first meeting, he's incredible. You have to find his flaws over time. He hides them.
Anywhere between $8 and $15 million, which sources told us is common at this level. And even though I live in one of the most expensive and crowded cities on Earth, with my budget, I can find a pretty sick house, I think. Okay, let's look around. Boy, there's some nice options here. How about this one? $8.5 million. This nice apartment
Kinda broke,
in
right?
Midtown Manhattan. The listing tells me that this is the epitome of refined living. A superior pre-war white glove cooperative. What does that mean? 4 bedrooms, 4 bath. This sun-kissed airy. This sun-kissed airy is one of the crown jewels of the Tony Enclave. What
How
is
about
it?
that?
Am I reading like a different language? What is the Tony Enclave? I don't know what any of those words mean, sorry. But I do know that it has a semi-private elevator.
Okay.
And it's the perfect setting for alfresco entertaining. And me, 100 millionaire, I am super into alfresco.
I feel like with $8.5 million, you could buy a Dave & Buster's and live in there and not allow anybody but your friends in. Why would you buy this? Do you know what I'm saying? Like what? I don't understand. This is like so classless in comparison. You could play all the games for free. And you could even have like a bartender like still serving drinks.
Entertaining. I mean, this is looking like a pretty great house. It's got this super romantic painting above the mantle. And in addition to my real library, I also get a bathroom that kind of looks like one. By the way, this is only my primary residence. It's not my...
I mean, on that note, it's kind of a joke answer, what I said. But I do think so far, the most cool billionaire splurge that I've seen so far is probably Gabe Newell's land party yacht. Like unironically, I'm like, damn, that is like a fucking cool thing to do with a billion. Buying this giant land party yacht and then like having your friends on there to play video games is like, damn, that is really fun sounding. I can't hate too much because like, of course that would be fucking cool to do. It's got a full basketball court. Gabe Newell's got a full basketball court. All right. Didn't he also buy the company? What company? Isn't the land party thing misinfo? Is it? Gabe Newell caps off Steam Machine Week by taking delivery of a new $500 million super yacht with a submarine garage, onboard hospital, and 15 gaming PCs. That sounds like a land party yacht to me. It's got 2 gyms. Yeah, it's got a land party. I mean, I think that would be really cool. It would be cool to... It's just the problem is, dude, here's the fucking real problem. Is like, I dreamed of this, not a land party yacht, but like, when I was younger, I was like, damn, if I ever hit the lottery or whatever, I could build like a sick house with a land party facility in it, like a bunch of gaming PCs, and my friends come over anytime we could just game. And then, now that I'm an adult, I realize that the problem with that is not getting the PCs. It's that as adults, no one has time. Like getting all my old buds together to like take a weekend and play video game is just not going to happen. That's not, we already do it once a year. And it's not, the problem is not the tech of getting the PCs. The problem is just that no one can fucking kick it and grind League of Legends for 18 hours like we used to. Get new friends. Yeah, good idea. I should drop all my friends who are either married or employed. And increasingly find only friends that can focus all their time on me and are unemployed as I get older. That's a good idea. I should surround myself with yes men who only want to play video games with me for money. Yeah, that's a really smart. Thank you for your diagnosis.
Only home. I've got a couple vacation homes around the country and the world. This one in Miami, which is increasingly a playground for the ultra-rich, and this one in the south of France. And both of these have full-time housekeepers. Let's talk about my vacations. I visit these houses a couple times a year, but for my other vacations, I'll maybe go to the Hamptons because I love to watch polo. There's this great polo match in July, and I buy a VIP ticket that will cost me only $3,500.
I heard polo and golf and all these traditionally wealthy sports are dying because even rich Zoomers don't fuck with them at all. Like all the traditional signifiers of sport with wealth, there's like no adoption among the young, the internet addicted young, even if they're rich. So they're just dying off. Golf is booming? No, golf is not booming. No, like a bunch of golf courses are shutting down. Golf's not booming. It's not dead, but golf is not booming, dude. A bunch of golf courses. Yeah, like there's fucking yeah, I'm trying to find the full article. There's tons of closures, dude. Tons in 2025. Golf Inc. Golf course supply levels off. Course closure expected to continue. They just don't have they don't have the demand. They don't have the regular. I mean, maybe at the highest end, but they don't have the demand of people.
Or lately I've been getting into F1, and so maybe I'll go to the race in Monaco. I'll stay at this Hotel Heritage, or no, Hermitage. I'll stay at the Hotel Hermitage, Monte Carlo, for just 22,000 euros a night, which is like $25,000 per night. Okay, let's get to the F1 race.
Golf has never been higher to get tee times. Yeah, because there's fewer supply of courses. It's just a shrinking supply. Obviously, there's still many boomers who will go play fucking golf. But the number of people playing it by generation is dropping dramatically. It's dying. I'm sorry to tell golf heads, your sport is dying. I hate to break it to you. Zoomers do not love golf. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You guys, it's embarrassing. You guys are wrong. It's not. Golf is not thriving nor growing. No, it is not. Oh my God. You are in a bubble. You are in a small group of people that like it. I'm sorry, golf heads, bro. They're closing. All right. Well, enjoy, bro. Enjoy.
Monaco Grand Prix is underway.
Jeez. No one told me I needed to bring my swimsuit to the F1 race. I'm feeling a little overdressed. Food's great, chef.
Okay.
Great view. Let's get to the race. I'm planning on watching the F1 race from a private yacht. The ticket was $16,000. And look at the benefits here. I get to walk around in the pit, I get to meet the drivers, and I even get
VIP tenders?
VIP tenders?
Chicken tenders?
Oh, not that kind of tender. Just a fancy boat that brings me out to the yacht.
Well, that's cool.
Anyway, something's bothering me. Remember when I showed you I could sell off the returns that I made this year from my stocks and still come out with millions of dollars of cash to spend? Well, I didn't really like having to sell off all those returns and then have to pay like over 30%
I don't want to pay
in
taxes.
Me and everyone else you'll see in this video don't like to sell our portfolio, our assets, to get cash, because that triggers all of these taxes.
Yuck.
Gives us less power in the companies we own. Instead, we like to get cash through a bunch of other ways, using our vast fortune. My favorite trick is to go to the bank and to ask for a loan. Wait, what? I'm a super rich guy. Why do I need a loan? Well, let me show you. The bank will loan me a lot of money if I put my huge investment portfolio up for collateral, meaning they can come after it if I don't pay the loan back, or if I default or something. Okay, how much can I get in a loan? Well, according to the bank UBS, I could borrow up to 85% of the value of my investment portfolio, which remember is $100 million. So I could potentially get a loan for $85 million. How
about that?
Another bank, Merrill Lynch, says that they will give at least 50% of the value of your portfolio. But regardless, we're talking tens of millions of dollars that I can borrow and spend. And guess what? I pay 0 taxes on this money because it's not income, it's technically debt. Okay, wait, but it's a loan. So I'm accruing interest, right? This isn't free money.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
it's
have to pay
low
it back
interest.
someday and likely have to pay it back with post-tax money. So it's not free money. What's the deal here? Why am I doing this? Well, according to a lot of good reporting from the Wall Street Journal, people making $100 million or more can get quoted on an interest rate as low as 0.87%.
Sheesh.
Super low. In reality, today, under these conditions and with my net worth, let's just be really real and conservative and say that my interest rate on the loan is more like 5.9%. It's a lot higher than 1%. But watch what happens. This allows me to not have to touch my investment portfolio. I don't have to take out that $10 million of stocks and pay a bunch of taxes. And that is growing at 10% a year, way more than the interest on this loan. Now watch what happens over time. This is the value of that $10 million left in my portfolio, and this is how much I owe on the loan I took out. That's a nice looking graph. My wealth is
Ardubs, that's the dumbest fucking stat you could have ever quoted. That is the dumbest fucking stat. There's more Gen Z and millennials than old people, of course. But dollar for dollar, the money going into golf is way more from fucking boomers. What a dumb fucking statement. What a dumb fucking statement, bro. That's the dumbest thing I ever fucking heard. I'm not getting baited by fucking golfers, bro. You guys are sad that your fucking sport is dying, which it is. It is dying. Of course it is. Bigger sports than golf are dying. Gen Z in general is playing less sport. The idea that it's booming is so incredibly dumb. I did not know that I had fucking embarrassing golf addicts in here. It is dying. We know it's dying. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane. I did not know. Golf heads are in shambles, bro. The golf course next to me got turned into a Target distribution center. Unfortunate, bro.
is growing way faster than the interest on my loan is accruing. So this tax-free debt thing is awesome, and it's one way that I will turn my net worth into spendable cash without having to sell off any of my stocks in my portfolio. Okay, no more tax math for now. I want to go buy some more stuff. It's time to talk about private jets and yachts. Sadly, I can't afford the private jet that I want. Womp womp. But this doesn't mean I don't fly private. These days, I can easily just book a jet like this one. It can take me from New York to Miami, and it only costs me...
Can you not have what wealth do you need to afford a jet? Like what? I always thought $100 million you'd probably have a jet, but is that too... Do you have to be a billionaire for a jet? At what net worth do you get a private jet? $50 million or more is a common. That's what I thought. I thought by 100 mil you'd get a private jet. It's a big chunk of your money. Yeah, I mean, it would be expensive.
$15,000.
It's not an achievement you unlock. It's not? I thought when you had a certain net worth, a fucking Xbox achievement score would pop up and they'd give you a fucking private jet.
You can get from LA to Australia for $200,000 on this private jet. $200,000 seems like a lot, but let's compare it to the median net worth of a US household, which is $192,000. The median net worth of a household, not a person, a household. Spending $200,000 on this flight to Australia feels the same for me as a median household spending $384 for this ticket.
That's
pretty doable
crazy.
for a flight to Australia. Now, I can get a better deal on these private flights if I pre-purchase a jet card like this. I fill it up with prepaid private jet hours. Prices range from $5,000 to $7,000 per hour for a small private jet and up to $20,000 an hour for a bigger, longer range
20
jet.
grand
Maybe
an
someday
hour.
I'll own my own private jet, but my budget of $10 million doesn't really get me the fancy one that I want. I'll opt to
Oh, I
charter
see.
for now. What I can afford
Because if you're 100 millionaire, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to spend more than 10% of your net worth on a jet. And you don't want the broke boy jet. It's almost more embarrassing, you know? If you're in the 100 million club and you invite people on your private jet and you have the old one. It's like kind of, this is what Aiden's probably shopping for right now with just yard money. It's a bit tacky. It's like it's a used jet.
is a fairly large staff to run my life. I have 18 full-time staff members, and that's a real
Jesus.
number of staff for people of
Jesus.
this net worth from a Morgan Stanley report. I've got a personal driver, I've got a shopper, I've got a butler, a chef, a laundry person. I'm super into security, so I've got a head of security and a bunch of security guards. I have a personal handler who sets up all the logistics of stuff I want to do. Like I want to go yacht shopping this weekend. They're
You
handling
can't
all of it.
afford a yacht at
Oh,
100
that's
million.
him now. Hey, Brad.
100 million? That's not yacht money. Not like a real one. If you want a baby bitch yacht.
Yeah, for the yacht show this weekend, can you make sure I get some VIP tenders? No, the chicken ones.
Oh, I'm sorry. This guy's he's just renting a jet and he's going to buy a baby yacht. He's actually kind of broke when you think about it. Like, actually, in America, you can't really survive on 100 million is what I'm realizing. That's what I'm realizing. He's kind of broke. It actually is kind of an embarrassing amount of money.
And I almost forgot, my most important staff members are the financial and legal experts who find the most clever ways to reduce how much taxes I have to pay, which my wealth manager, Jeff, keeps selling off all my stocks at a loss, and we're like losing money. Jeff, what are you doing back there?
Don't worry, Scott. This is called a wash sale and I know what I'm doing. You get back to yacht shopping.
Okay.
Loss harvesting, wash sale. I don't understand it all. Jeff does though. Anyway, back to yacht shopping. Wow, look at these yachts. I'm actually sad to discover that I'm on the lower end of ultra wealth. So my yacht is actually not that fancy. It's not a super yacht, that's for sure. It looks more like this. It costs a little over $1 million. I might splurge and get this guy. Costs more like $6 million, but
Man, I think it is called a wash sale is whenever you sell your stocks at a loss and then rebuy them immediately so that you can take the losses on your taxes. So if I bought a stock at 100 and then it's down to 85, I sell it, then rebuy it at 85 so I can have that deducted on my taxes. It's illegal. It's illegal. So technically, I'm sure they're finding some loophole. You're not allowed to do a wash sale. But there are ways around it where they use things that track essentially the same security. You know, I don't have an example off the top of my head, but like, okay, let's say for example, if you had a loss on gold, and there was two different securities that both tracked the price of gold, you could sell one, buy the other, make the argument. You need like a tax lawyer, but yeah, sell Vanguard, buy SPY, that kind of thing. But you know, I'm pretty sure even those specific examples are also banned. So it's like, you have to go deeper. Flirt.
But this is still pretty entry level. Because at this point, yes, I've got loads of money. I can buy and travel and live how I want. But what separates me from the big dogs who we're about to see is yachts and private jets, but also influence in society. I do some donating. I donate a bunch of money to politics. I gave $900,000 to a PAC that supports the candidates that I hope will win. I also belong to the invite-only Aman Club, which I had to pay a $200,000 initiation fee for. My membership fee is $15,000 a year, and I get to rub shoulders with people way richer than me, like Bill Gates and even the Kardashians.
$200,000, you could have bought a lot of gifties in here and got real influence. Okay? $200,000 worth of gifties, you would be hobnobbing with Punch. Okay? With Ludsy, with the elite of the Atrioc chat. You'd have a real. This is such a huge waste of money. What are you talking with fucking Epstein Island people?
Show up every once in a while. But this isn't real influence. I'm kind of paying for access. It's nothing like we're gonna see once we cross the $1 billion mark. Hey, since we're talking about money, can we take a minute to make sure that this video makes money so that our team can continue to work and our company can keep going, so we can keep making videos? Description. Thank you, NordVPN, for sponsoring today's video. And with that, let's dive back into the lifestyles of the ultra rich. All right, now let's 10x this and get to $1 billion. Forbes says that there's about 3,000 people on earth with this kind of money. Hi, my name is Javier. I was a moderately wealthy guy for a while, but I randomly wrote a $200,000 check to a couple of young guys in Silicon Valley who had a startup idea. They gave me 4% equity in their company, and then their company blew up and is now worth $80 billion. After some dilution, my $200,000 check is now worth $1 billion. That's my net worth. So how do I get liquid cash to spend from my vast fortune? Well, I don't want to sell any of my stake in the tech company I invested in because I have voting rights. I can control how it is. In fact, like Scott, I don't want to sell any of my portfolio for cash. Instead, I will generate money other ways. I'll go back to the old debt trick that we saw with Scott.
Yeah.
Even if I get a loan that's 2% of my vast portfolio, I'm looking at $20 million of tax-free cash, all without having to touch my portfolio, which continues to grow in the market at 10% a year. That $20 million that I didn't have to take out of my portfolio is just in the market, is growing nice and fast. And look, after 5 years, my portfolio has grown way more than the interest on this loan. I can easily pay back the loan right now and still have extra to spare.
Okay. Just to be clear, even the old example where he was putting it into a diversified portfolio of stocks, you're not guaranteed 10% a year. That's not. But with this, where all of your money is in one tech startup, you're certainly not guaranteed to be consistently outpacing interest. That's not.
I can easily pay back the loan right now and still have extra to spare. Okay, so let's talk houses. Where do I live? Of course, New York City, where there's more billionaires than anywhere else in the world. I live up on the Upper East Side. Look at this beautiful home. 6 bedrooms, 17,000 square feet, Manhattan apartment. It cost me $57.5 million. This was actually 2 huge multi-million-dollar houses that they combined into one. Just cause. It's got a pool with my favorite inspirational quotes on the wall, a basketball court on the roof. But this is not my only home. It is one of 7 that I own, including my home in Aspen, in Lake Garda, Dubai, St. Barth,
Dude, 7 homes.
Downtown Paris. And look, I finally own a private jet. Yes. No more chartering or prepaid flight cards. I've got my own private jet and it is sick. Look at this thing. Cost me $75 million, and I have to pay $3 million a year just to maintain it. Like, I have to pay $135,000 just to store it in a hangar. I pay $600,000 a year on fuel and $45,000 just on like basic maintenance. Oh, and I have a full-time pilot and crew. Wow. I spend over $700,000 just to keep them retained as my full-time flight attendants. And I finally can buy a respectable yacht. Like, look at this one. It's 131 feet long. It's got a pool and a hot tub on the deck. It can carry 11 guests and 9 crew members.
Only 11 guests?
I have to pay a full-time crew to run this thing year-round, even though I only use it a few times a year. My vacations look pretty similar to Scott's. A lot of expensive VIP access.
11 guests is kind of broke still. Am I finding out that even a 1 billionaire is broke? 11 guests. That's a small gas. That's not even really a party. 11 guests, like the conversation might die down and it's going to be awkward silence. You can't even have a 15-man LAN party. I don't know. It just feels like inflation has struck again.
Access, but just a little more elevated. Like I paid $3 million to watch the Super Bowl in this suite with Taylor Swift and a bunch of other rich people. The difference between me and Scott is I get invited to stuff that I don't even have to pay for because we're kind of all a little bit post money at this point. Like the Monaco Yacht Show, they have an exclusive opening day. Scott was paying $2,200 for a ticket, but I'm one of the 200 people that they just invited to the VIP experience. And in fact, where Scott's vacations were about lavish, opulent hotels and experiences,
Scott was so broke.
I have kind of a different vibe. I care mostly about privacy and security. In fact, the places I stay look a lot more like this from the street. Unassuming, not drawing any attention. But behind these walls, I've got everything I need for my vacation. My security team flew in a few days earlier to secure the property, and then I arrive with my butler, my chef, even my personal doctor is on site. I've got a dog walker who I pay to just hang out with my dog.
Dude, why would you fly to France and then bring your own chef? What's the point? If you're not going to go and try some of the food there, the chef's there, what's the point? He's going to make your chicken tenders your way?
And of course, my luxury travel coordinator who just zipped into town to connect with the brands she's been communicating with. They're planning to come to my villa to set up my own personal store in one of the many bedrooms so that I can browse the latest fashion without leaving my villa. By the way, that's a real example from our reporting. A family who did this during one of their vacations and ended up spending $1.5 million on their little in-home designer store during their vacation. In fact, I want to super clarify that all of these examples are based on real reporting, real examples from our interviews with people who work with the ultra rich. Many of them don't want to appear and be quoted in this video, but we're grateful that they let us in on some of these lifestyle details of how people live and travel at this wealth level. Anyway, I'm Javier. And at this point, it's hard to know what to spend my money on that Scott can't. Like, we can both buy a $91,000 shirt, which sales tax alone on this puppy is like $8 grand. $9 million painting. There's a few things that are out of reach for Scott that I can buy, maybe like this nearly $3 million bottle of whiskey. What I can do at this level is pay for hyper exclusive experiences, like paying my favorite band, the Eagles, to fly in and play me a show. I'll pay millions of dollars for this. And in fact, they've negotiated only playing Hotel California one time, but it was totally worth it. And yes, that $6 million private concert is a real example too. Anyway, let's go back to security, because now that I'm a billionaire, I'm a little more well-known and my security team has grown, but I'm also starting to get a little more.
I wonder if you can even afford to like buy someone to deliver you Chipotle in California. Or is that not quite the wealth level yet? I wonder if you can order like a burrito with guac to be delivered to your door. I don't think they're quite there, but that's the 100 billion. That's the Elon Musk level. Because that is quite pricey.
Paranoid. Thinking about how I'm planning for something
They
apocalyptic. We rich people think about this a lot. What if we lose it all? My vast wealth is in the market, in the economy. And if order breaks down, it could be worth nothing. So I'm going to invest in some backup plans. A bunch of land in upstate New York. And in fact, I'm even working on a bunker. I love bunkers. This thing's got food storage, a decontamination shower, a high-tech air filtration system, 4 bedrooms, a hair salon, a shooting range. Listen, I'm not a prepper, but you know, just in case, and I've got the money to do it, why wouldn't I? I'm worth $1 billion. So at this point, I kind of have an army of tax professionals optimizing my wealth so I can pay as few taxes as possible. And Congress just passed some legislation that's really helping me out on this.
Hell yeah. BBB, baby.
At this level, I start to get weird and creative with my money. Maybe I'll buy a hotel chain, or maybe I'll invest in bubbles. No, not those kind of bubbles. Bubbles is the name of my thoroughbred horse that I bought for $3 million. I paid millions of dollars, and then I had to, of course, build a home and a bunch of stables for Bubbles, and I had to like get a trainer and feed and care and medical attention. It's a lot of money, but it's a business expense. And Bubbles is a depreciating asset on my balance.
If you're at this level of wealth and you're not sponsoring like an esports team, what is your point of your life? if you're not subsidizing a money-losing esports team in fucking Counter-Strike or something, then why? I don't get it. A fucking horse?
Balance sheet. I'm supposed to try to make a profit off of Bubbles, but really I'm doing it because on race day, I love showing up to watch him race. Get to hang out with my friends, spend some time at the track, throw a big party, and watch Bubbles race. Come on, boy, come on. Bubbles. Oh, he lost again. And yes, I'm losing a lot of money on Bubbles, but honestly, I'm not that stressed because this is more of a hobby and all of these losses I can write off to lower my tax bill. I'm actually doing this same kind of hobby thing on a much bigger scale. I bought an NBA team.
Oh, there we go.
Write these players off as depreciating assets, even though the team is growing and making money. All of this helps my tax rate be lower than the players who play for me and even lower than the guy serving beer in the stands. ProPublica did a great analysis on that, by the way. But yeah, anyway, all of this is legal. Like, I'm not breaking any rules.
You know what you should do is you should buy a WNBA team. It's even better because you don't even have to pay any salaries. Even though the teams are growing in value every year, you can just not pay any fucking salaries, and that's really fucking sick. That's actually fucking awesome. Just an easy dub. And it's even better because the fans will support you not paying the salaries. They'll actually loudly and passionately advocate for you not paying the salaries because it makes them feel better about themselves. So it's actually a fucking sick spot to be in. You can fucking cook them on percent of revenue, and then people who don't even know you will loudly and passionately defend you. How about... Hi.
Guess you're busy.
I was just talking about how women shouldn't be paid for stuff.
So why do you
Well, I'm not busy. What's up?
Nothing.
Oh.
Just wanted to get... All right. Waiting for my wontons.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Are you cold?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're cold.
Okay.
All right. Bacon for wontons. I hope she made some wontons for me.
It's really fun. And look, I have the best seats in the house. Oh, and by the way, I still pay a lot of taxes. My businesses pay corporate taxes and income taxes and payroll taxes and property taxes and sales taxes. I contribute massively in dollar terms, and my businesses generate huge amounts of tax revenue and jobs, and I took a risk in building my wealth. And when I sell or die, the government takes another giant cut. I'm paying plenty. And
I'm pissed.
I'm paying so much that I'm gonna use some of my influence to try to change that.
Let's go.
I've got my eye on a Senate candidate. I've contributed $20 million to his campaign to get him reelected, and he won. Yes! It's a few months later, and Congress is working on a bill. It could have big ramifications for my business and therefore my net worth. And so I'm gonna call in my favor to the senator who I donated so much money to help reelect. I need him to insert 8 words into this massive bill to allow my business to qualify for a huge deduction. He does it. Last second, and I just saved hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes. 20 million bucks to get this guy elected in exchange for hundreds of millions of dollars in savings? That sounds like a good investment. Thanks, Congress. My financial advisors have been telling me that it's time for me to not just be a rich person, but to become a philanthropist, to give away my money and to save some taxes in the process. How about, let's see, what can I give away? Well, I've got this really nice art collection. An appraiser said that it was worth $130 million.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna donate this, but I'm not gonna donate it to like a public gallery. I'm gonna donate it to my own family's private nonprofit foundation. And as long as I make this art accessible to the public, I can write off the $130 million from my taxes over several years. Okay, so I have to make all this art accessible to get the tax write-off. What counts as accessible? Luckily, the IRS isn't super specific, so I've decided to open up the art room to the public, but just in kind of random 2-hour slots that you need a lottery to get an access to. There'll be only guided tours on random Wednesdays, no regular hours, no self-guided tours. That's accessible, right? I'm taking the tax write-off.
How about that?
Guys?
Nice approach.
Yes. And yes, that is a real example of philanthropy really being vanity.
Dude, what's really cool is all that money in your art foundation, you can now hire all your cousins and nephews and family members, and they get jobs that are tax deductible on your fucking foundation dime to fly around the world and do jack shit. And it's this awesome fucking system. Where instead of your money going towards the government anyway, it only goes to those in your family and connections and people you want to give favors to.
Projects with no public benefit. Thanks again to ProPublica for their great reporting on it. Okay, moving on. Now, there are billionaires who give to real causes that benefit real people, who give away a large amount of their fortune to actually change the world for the better. But it's also very common for billionaires to use foundations and philanthropy as tax shelters and vanity projects. And the IRS doesn't really come down on these people very often. Oh, I just got an email saying I'm going to Switzerland. Because I donated to the presidential campaign, the president is assigning me to be the ambassador to Switzerland. And I know the president said that he wouldn't be appointing his donors to these types of roles, but here I am. Seems like a lot of us donors are getting appointed. This is great. Let's get the jet ready to go to Switzerland. So you can see that my fortune at this point buys me anything I want.
Damn, Switzerland's nice.
It's actually starting to be more and more about buying influence in society and politics. But this is just the beginning. Let's see what happens when we 100x this. Okay, things are about to get kind of nuts because we're about to 100x this pile. To go from 1 billion to $100 billion. There's less than 20 people.
If you have $100 billion, why not simply print it all out in $1 bills and then stand on it? So you have the tallest tower in DC like this. Wouldn't that be the coolest possible thing you could do? And then look down on everybody. I mean, it'd be a little risky, I guess, a little scary, but it'd be pretty cool. Like your aura would be awesome. If you're standing right here, come on. You could have like someone, you could be flown up there, dropped off. The aura of being up here would be crazy. Or you could lay down on it like in Breaking Bad and like money angel to money, and then dollar bills are flying off and everyone at the bottom is like waiting around.
There's less than 20 people who have this much net worth or more. They're almost all Americans who started technology companies. Elon Musk, the world's richest man, has anywhere from 4 to 5 times this much, depending on the day. And at this point, there's no way I can convince you how much money this is.
So cool.
Like, you have to combine the incomes of over 7.5 million Americans toiling away, earning the median salary of $63,000 a year. 7.5 million people earning the amount of money controlled by one guy. Hi, my name is Bradley. I founded a technology company decades ago, and it is now one of the most valuable companies on earth. I still run it actively, and most of my $100 billion fortune is in the form of a huge amount of stock in this company. How do I even think about where to live? I could go the direction of Indian billionaire Mukesh Ambani and build my own personal 27-story skyscraper, complete with a hanging garden and a 6-floor garage where I can store 168 cars. Or I could collect a portfolio of trophy homes all over the world. I'll buy this one in Florida for $173 million. It's got 33 bedrooms and 39 bathrooms. That is a lot of toilets. I'll buy a spot in London, but I'll make sure to buy all the properties
more
around
than one
it,
bathroom
so I've got
per
a lot
bedroom
of privacy.
is crazy.
That one cost me $202 million. I'll grab a bunch of property along this coastline in Malibu. I'll buy this private golf course next to my 19,000 square foot mansion, even though I don't really play golf. And I'll even pay $86 million for a Zen temple in Japan because
you better start playing quick.
Japan. Let's add to
you won't be able to relate to the
this
Zoomers.
Entire island of Lanai, Hawaii. All in all, my big portfolio of houses around the world adds up to about $2
Zoomers won't even understand you if you don't talk about golf. They're so
Larry
into
Ellison, whose homes all of those I just mentioned are, this isn't even 1% of my net worth. But I don't want to just buy homes.
Christ, he has $2 billion in property alone?
A social media company. I'm really into influence right now, and influencing the media is a great way to influence society. And this is where I can take the loan thing that we talked about earlier to a whole new level. Yes, I could sell a bunch of my stock to get cash to buy the social media company. Or I can do what Elon Musk did and take out a giant loan, billions of dollars that I don't have to pay taxes on, that is based on my vast fortune. Musk was about to take out a loan of $12.5 billion, but then ended up taking about half that to buy Twitter. And this is what's wild, is the loan thing.
Which is
at
a great
this level,
purchase.
I can plan to just do this forever. I never have to pay off these loans. I never have to sell off any of my stock. I could keep paying down the interest so it doesn't compound, but even if I don't, my fortune grows way faster than this debt accrues. And the real benefit of this happens when I get close to the end of my life. It's been decades. I have all these loans.
Step up basis?
Accrued interest. My fortune is growing way faster. And at the end of my life, I could sell a bunch of my portfolio, get a bunch of cash, and pay off all my loans before I die, so I don't leave my children saddled with all my loans. But I don't want to do that, because I would have to pay a huge amount of taxes if I did. And if you haven't noticed, I don't like taxes. My goal now, as I get close to the end of my life, is to set my family up to inherit my vast fortune in the most advantageous way possible. So I max out the gifting exemption. There's like $14 million I can do there, but that's like a drop in the bucket. I'll set up some trusts that technically remove control of my wealth and pays out a certain amount to the named beneficiaries, like my children and grandchildren, over a period of time, potentially forever. But watch this. My portfolio is a vast fortune that is mostly loaded with unrealized gains, meaning this is all money that has grown in the market. I haven't paid taxes on it yet because I haven't taken it out. The moment I take it out, I have to pay taxes. But what I can do is when I die, I can give this giant fortune to my daughter, let's say. And the moment I give it to her, boom, the clock resets. She inherits that fortune, and suddenly it's as if she has zero gains, meaning she could sell this entire portfolio on day one and pay no taxes. Those unrealized, untaxed gains disappear, never to be taxed. And yes, there is a big estate tax that I have to pay when I die, but my army of wealth managers have figured out a way to buy an insurance policy that will pay that tax for me. Anyway, I'm not dead yet. Let's talk about yachts. Because at this point, at $100 billion, I can get the top of the line.
Ooh!
Look at this 600-foot long,
that's a real
$600 million yacht. This thing has a crew of 80 people. It can cross the Atlantic without refueling. It's got a pool, a helipad, a movie theater, a golf training room, because, you know, I gotta practice my swing when I'm out in the Atlantic. I pay my crew super well. Many of my crew stay on board my yacht for years. Oh, and did I mention that it's not just the yacht?
You'll be relatable to broke
this
Zoomers.
Little shadow barge that follows my yacht around when we're out
Golf's
to
not
sea.
dead.
It carries extra
Billionaires
fuel,
are practicing
so
on
we
their
can be out
yacht.
on the water longer. It also keeps some of my car collection. Oh, what's that? You're burning to hear about my car collection? I have 2,000 cars.
Oh my God.
This giant collection
I hate
is worth
this.
around 200 million.
I hate is especially a boomer obsession. I guess maybe it's a wealthy obsession because boomers have the wealth, but it feels like a boomer thing more than anything to care about cars. I don't get it. To care about cars, to have so many more cars than you can ever possibly drive. I don't get it. It's such a weird use of money. Just garages filled with cars. If you're a super car guy, I could see having, you know, a few that you like and drive. But the collecting of it is so, I feel like no one else cares. It's such a stupid. I think it's
$1 million. It's kind of my hobby. Another real example from this.
like the Jay Leno thing. I think it's so embarrassing.
The line. There's something else I got my eye on. This super yacht airship crossover that's straight out of Star Trek. I want this thing, especially because the article says that, quote, crossovers can be oodles of fun when done right. I want oodles of fun. My super yacht's starting to look boring because I have to stick to the sea. But with this crossover, I can go anywhere because it literally turns into a blimp and goes onto land, and it costs about $1 billion. And yes, it's got all the bells and whistles, a pool, a sauna, a gym, a helipad, tenders.
Going into a fucking blimp so you can swim in the pool. You don't have to add a pool to every mode of transportation. It's absurd, dude.
And a nice big garage for my cars. And yeah, we got to talk about my private jet. Oh, sorry, private jets. I have 3 of them, and they're all huge. My favorite one is this one.
Broke talk? I guess I'm broke.
This is the ACJ 350. It's got a cabin that's 167 feet long. Over 3,000 square feet of floor space on this sucker. I bought this thing for $360 million. And I spent another $100 million just to renovate the interior because I wanted a spa on board. I mean, totally worth it, right? Oh, and on a more grave note, I had to make a deal with my pilot that in case of the apocalypse, which I think about a lot, I'll let him and his family come with me to my compound. Like if we have to escape, I need to guarantee that I have a pilot to fly me away in case like the mob comes knocking. Where will I fly? Oh, I've got some options. I've got bunkers all over the place.
Oh, nice.
Some of them have
Multiple
airstrips,
bunkers.
so I can just fly right to them. My favorite one is in New Zealand.
Dude, it's just so funny seeing these bunkers compared to the ones before, because the ones before look like fucking Motel 6s. Like, there's some people that are worth $1 billion that are going to get fucking mogged in the apocalypse. They're going to be living like fucking rats, dude. They're living so poor compared to this. It's gonna feel bad.
Some of them have airstrips.
Gabe Newell's gonna be fucking mogging. It's gonna be embarrassing. You might as well die in the apocalypse, bro.
I can just fly right to them. My favorite one is in New Zealand, where a lot of us ultra wealthy are burying bunkers. This thing is buried underground. It's got a pantry, a gun room, a surgery station. This thing only cost me $8 million to build. But that's not including the couple $1,000,000 I had to invest in New Zealand for several years to qualify for an investor visa. So they'll like let me into their airspace. My other bunkers include huge pieces of land in Hawaii, where I have a huge full-time staff, including
The
a person who
Zuckerberg.
raises my Wagyu cattle, just like my buddy Mark Z.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got one too.
There you go.
We love Wagyu and hydrofoils. When I say and hydrofoils, cut to him on the hydrofoil out in the... We got this, Mark. Okay, but I'm not all doom and gloom apocalyptic. It's just a backup plan. I have hobbies too, but my hobbies have turned into kind of reality bending projects. Like, I want to go to space.
I feel super connected to love.
I want to create my own libertarian nation in the South Pacific. I've got the money to do it. I have like more money than a lot of nations. Or I could throw my money at wild, innovative ideas, like making human brains talk to computers or finding ways for humans to live forever. My security team is
really
now
want that.
huge, dozens and dozens of professionals,
That's the
many of
Putin
them
and
former
Xi.
Navy SEALs. And it's hitting me that at this level, I have so much money, I can actually make a huge impact.
If any billionaires are watching, and I know most of you are, in the post-apocalyptic world, you're going to need one thing most of all, and that's streaming. You're going to need entertainment. Like, 100% you're going to need a spot in your bunker for someone to make content so that you can get on Apocalypse Tube and watch a new update of Marketing Monday, for example. Like that. So my business email is on my YouTube. I think you need to reach out and make sure that I'm well provided for in the New Zealand bunker. Apocalypse Monday. It is so funny. Me streaming to an audience of one person every day. I have to nonstop be streaming in case they want to tune in. That's actually hell, dude. That's hell.
In the world. I have the ability to give away over $19 billion of my wealth, no strings attached, to help change the lives of underrepresented people like Jeff Bezos' ex-wife did. I could put billions of dollars in...
And I'm still dono walling. I'm not reading the gifties from the one person.
into eradicating infectious diseases and focusing on improving maternal and child health funding like Bill and Melinda Gates have done. It's a lot of power that I have to affect what public health initiatives get done. Or I could pour my philanthropic money into foundations that get me tax benefits and serve my own ventures and are completely controlled by me and my family. I could do either. And my level of influence is not just in the philanthropic causes I can fund. I also rub shoulders with the most influential decision makers in the world. Did I mention that as a part of my real estate portfolio,
Jesus.
I've got this huge swath of beach in
I really don't
Florida
like Larry
where
Ellison.
I've created an enclave for the rich. It's right right next to the president's Florida residence, and it's where I make sure that I rub shoulders with
It's very good that this guy's about to own Warner Brothers Discovery, CNN, possibly TikTok America. I think that's awesome. I think that's fucking cool. I'm glad that he will have so much influence over all of the media. Paramount, yeah. I think that's cool. And I'm hopeful.
the right people. This election cycle, I'm going to spend almost $300 million on getting my favorite candidate elected to be president. That seems like a lot. Is that legal? Actually, yes. Look, I have a front row seat to the inauguration, and the president is giving me the job I've always wanted, which is taking a chainsaw to the federal government.
Yes.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw!
Wow, well, that was quite the journey. If there's one thing I've learned on my journey
And he
from
did it.
$100 million to $100 billion, it's
he
that
did it.
wealth begets more wealth. That's why I did all those like tax calculations and debt to show you that when you have wealth and ownership of assets in a capitalistic system, you become impervious. You can build
in
a
any
fortress
system, R
of
greater
wealth
than G.
that just keeps growing. And then once you have that
In all of
fortress,
human history,
it
R
allows
greater
you
than G.
to influence government and policy and media that then serves your interests to get more wealth. All while opportunities, wages, and resources stagnate for the majority. This isn't a broken system. This is a system working exactly how it was designed by policy choices and decisions. And it might strike you as unfair. I think it is, but I also think it's really dangerous. It's exactly the type of concentration that creates a politics of grievance and anger and resentment and hopelessness, all so that a few people can have access to their fancy boats and exclusive parties.
That part's true. And I think all of us would make that sacrifice, to be honest. I think if you polled each person and said, would you sacrifice a little bit or a lot to ensure that Gabe Newell can have a land party yacht? They would do it. It's worth it. It's a worthwhile cause.